Welcome to Simon's Universe of Music. We've talked about Cooler Shaker as number 1. We've talked about Yeah 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 as number 2. So here we are, number 3. We're going to come back to England and we're going to talk about a band from Liverpool. Not that band, the Zutons. It started on October the 19th, 2003, on a Sunday night. We were seeing the Thrills, right? But they had this band supporting them and we didn't know who they were. They came out probably about 7:30ish. Dave, Abby, Russ, Boyan and Sean. So you've got this 5-piece band and we were like, who the flipping hell are these? Right? Because the lead singer had this big jumper on, these Rockports on. We were like, oh my god, who are these going to be? It was the Zutons. So with this Liverpool band that we saw, I was with my mates at the academy and we were down the front, we were watching them. The choral were already out. So my mate was shouting, the choral, the choral, the choral, you sound like the choral. Dave was looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about? We're not the choral, mate, we're the Zutons. So the Zutons finished playing their set and we got talking to Dave. Well, I did, because I talk to everyone and I talk to Simon's Universe of Music. So talking to Dave and we're general chit chat talking about him. Yeah, you're really good, having a few beers, having a laugh, and it was great. So watch the Zutons, watch the Thrills, which brought us to the second time, which was New Brighton, which was the Coral headlining, the Libertines, the Zutons and the Bees. So we've gone up on the Friday night. We saw the Libertines on the Friday night. On the Saturday it was the Coral's homecoming gig at New Brighton and the Zutons were there. And it got towards the end, watching the Coral, and we were stood at the back and we caught Dave. So I went over to Dave and he recognised us and we got talking about that gig in Birmingham and he was telling us about the new album coming out. He was talking to us about his debut album. He was talking to us about gigs, and to be honest, it's pretty hard to remember because I can assure you that weekend was pretty unbelievable. With Dave telling me all the news in 2003 about his album coming out, it was keeping us a fan of that band. I think as a debut album, it's got a lot of personal stuff to us, this. I think it was a time just being a young man, listening to music and going out and meeting a band and having memories with music. It was produced by Ian Brody, who is the lead singer of the Lightning Seeds, who I think has done a lot of work for Liverpool bands, not only his own, but bands like the Coral and bands like the Zutons. For them two bands to come out in the early 2000s, I think Ian really did put a lot of hard work into them. The songs on it, Remember Me, Pressure Point, Railroad and Will You Won't, which I think is a great song. It's a great song to turn on. The show used one of the Zutons song, Confusion, for a Peugeot advert. It was for the Peugeot 307. I can imagine they got a few quid selling Peugeot cars. That was quite good. Putting their music out there for a TV advert. I suppose for any band that does that, that's got to be a good marketing thing to sell their music, and for the Zutons, you know, to try and win fans. I was also buying the singles when they first came out as well. So the singles I got was Don't Overthink. The next one was Pressure Point. And You Will, You Won't. I bought this single. I bought a new CD player that day from a shop in Bromsgrove called Spain, right? And Bromsgrove people will know that shop. So I bought that The day I got my CD player from that shop. And literally I went in, I needed it, I wanted it, and I knew which one I was going to get. So he was just like, have you got anything you can put on? And I just bought this single. So he put it in, blasted that in the shop, and I think for that sort of song to be blasted in the shop is pretty cool. With the Zutons having their first album, with the new tunes they were bringing out, it got to a stage where they were bringing out some real belters. And I have to say there's one Pacific belter that they brought out, which became absolutely massive, and that's Valerie. What a tune that is. That tune will live forever. So the song Valerie was about a girlfriend that Dave had. She was called Valerie Starr. She lived in Florida. It's because of his girlfriend not being able to get to England. That's why he wrote the song with the reference to why won't you come on over. It's because of his girlfriend couldn't get to England because of a driving offence at the time. And that's why he says, do you need a good lawyer? I used to work with a woman called Valerie who had a great sense of humour, loved to laugh, and was always going on holiday. Well, sadly, she's passed away. But when Valerie came out, I bought a single for her. Me being a fan of this band, I thought it would be a bit of a kind gesture to go, you know what, I love this song, but this is for you. I suppose the other great thing for the song Valerie is when Mark Rodson and Amy took it to somewhere different. It will always be the Zutons song, and they're very proud of it, but I think when Amy done it, it was great. I can remember being on holiday, it was on karaoke, right, and it was the Zutons version of the song, right, in that way, but they started singing it in the Amy way, and I was kicking off saying, it's not the Amy one, it's the Zutons one, and it was just like, yeah, it is the Zutons one, because it is their song. They're very proud of it. They will keep playing that song, and it will be something that will live for a long time. I don't think many people will forget it. An album came out which is absolutely fantastic. It's a great second album, a great English second album from a great English band. This album will always be special. I think it's special for a lot of people that became a fan of the band when this album came out. 2006, I think it was right in the middle of a time where there was lots of good bands out, and I think the Zutons were holding their own. They had lots of good music that they could play. They had everything to back them up. The songs, even where they're from, I think, for their songs and their style, and we have to say that obviously with Abby being in the band and for her being a saxophone player, makes the Zutons very special. They are a really special band, and I really want more people to really get into them. I'd love loads of young people to get into them. I think they're a band that needs to be played more. Valerie, oh Stacey, look what you've done, but why won't you give me your love? I mean, songs like that, when you see him play it live, it's powerful, it's strong, it's heavy, it's good. I think Dave, as a songwriter, he talks about things within his sleep quite a bit within his songs. Someone Watching Over Me is about, obviously, he's thinking about stuff in his sleep. And I'm going to put this out there to Simon's Universe. If you do listen to the Zutons, listen to what he's saying, because I think he's talking about crazy stuff within his sleep. So that's a challenge to the Simon's Universe of Music. If you ever put the Zutons on, just try and work out what he's talking about, because within his sleep there's something going on. So I think I did catch him a couple of times on this when they were playing it, because for the 6 or 7 times I've seen him, I know I saw him doing this, and I saw him in Birmingham on this album. I can even remember being outside Birmingham Academy watching the Zutons, stood outside having a cigarette, and Dave being out and us going up to each other saying, alright, how you doing, giving each other a hug, having a cigarette together. He was having his photo taken with people, and we had a bit of a laugh. And I think he may have even gave me his number to say, when you're around up in Liverpool, whatever, we can meet up. But hey, that was a long time ago. These things happen, and que sera. 2008, the band brought out their third album, You Can Do Anything. And I think the title of that third album goes with the band. So they would have still been doing the festivals, they still would have been on the road, and they're still working hard. They're still coming out and making great songs like What's Your Problem? What's Your Problem? Third track on the album. I love that song. It is really good. When you put them albums on, for the first one, the second one, and the third one, whenever you put these on, you're not really going to skip a tune, because the three albums that are out have got great songs on it. The Zutons had great music videos. They had like a theme and entertainment, and for the characters they are in the band, they wanted to be funny. They wanted you to think they're cool. Zutons definitely 1,000,000% had a lot of support from people like Noel and Oasis. The Zutons were definitely playing with Oasis, and for the Zutons to have that backing of supporting the big one, it was really good for the Zutons. In fact, I can remember seeing Oasis in Birmingham and seeing Dave on the side. I think Oasis respected the Zutons. I know Noel has said that he went to see the Zutons quite a lot, and now to have one of the Zutons in his High Flying Birds, with Russ playing bass with the High Flying Birds, is a really great thing. Dave obviously had a bit of bother that was not particularly good for him. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about, you know. He ended up in the mire, which was not particularly great. That's a real shame. Zutons finishing in 2009 and coming back, touring the first album, with doing like the hits on that, and obviously the other bits and pieces. I got to see him last year at a festival up north. It was great to see him again, and I really enjoyed it, and they were still good, and they were still entertaining, and it was really great to hear the songs again. A band that goes away and comes back and literally still wants to play them songs and still enjoy playing them songs, and I think that's a really big thing. So with the Zutons being my number 3, I think they thoroughly deserve it for me meeting Dave, for the times I've seen them, for the tunes that they've got. I really hope you've enjoyed my Zutons video. If you have, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, put your notifications on. I look forward to seeing you next time on Simon's Universal Music.